Welcome back. Establishing rapport with students is the number one aspect of classroom management. Routines and procedures are vital aspects of classroom management as well. Without clear routines and procedures, chaos can ensue. Nobody, including students, wants this. Let's take a look at how to establish and sustain effective routines and procedures in the classroom. All right, so we're continuing our classroom management series. We're focused in on establishing classroom routines and procedures. So we're going to look at a definition and importance, some strategies, benefits, considerations, and then close out with keys to remember. As mentioned in the intro, your first line of defense is establishing rapport with your students. This doesn't mean establishing friendships. It means establishing some type of relationship with your students so you understand who you're working with. Once that's done, the routines and procedures will only serve to fortify this relationship, right? So routines and procedures, the difference between the two. So routines are the repeated patterns that become automatic through consistent practice, right? And then your procedures are specific steps students do for a particular task or situation. So some examples. Routines, we're going to establish how we enter the classroom, how work is submitted, requesting help, group work, technology use, transitions, and dismissals. Now, here's the catch. If we just assume kids understand how to do these things, chaos will ensue, okay? Because every classroom is different. Every teacher is different. The way I enter the classroom for Dr. G is not the same way I enter the classroom for Miss Jones down the street, okay? down the hall, sorry. So we, as instructors, we need to establish what our classroom rules and procedures are. Now, we're gonna have a little nuance later on, but it's not about control. It's about creating a structured environment that makes learning easier. It's not about trying to control anybody. It's about having a flow and routines that support positive learning environments. So why do they matter? It creates predictability. Students know what to do, when to do it, how to do it when they come into your classroom, okay? You protect instructional time because you reduce having to repeat directions. Nobody likes repeating themselves over and over and over again, right? So by establishing these routines and procedures, you reduce the need to repeat yourself over. You promote safety and consistency and a sense of belonging. You reduce uncertainty that can contribute to off-task behaviors and disruptions. And last but not least, you build student independence and responsibility over time. I don't have to keep telling you, once we establish the routines and procedures, you come in and do what you have to do, okay? I don't have to tell you anything, which relieves stress for me as a teacher, and it relieves stress from you because there's not somebody standing over you, hovering over you, trying to direct your every step. You already know what to do. Let me go ahead and take care of it as a student. So what are some strategies for establishing routines? You prioritize routines that have the greatest impact on learning and safety. So the organization of your classroom, the flow of your classroom, how students enter and exit your classroom. These things where there's movement, you definitely want to have established routines, okay, where there's movement. This avoids any, bumping into each other, stepping on each other, and so forth. Explain the purpose. Have the discussion with students why the routine is needed and how it's going to help us overall succeed. Then you want to make sure that you model each routine step by step and include examples and non-examples, right? Here's the piece that a lot of us as instructors kind of let go of. We tell them what to do. We might go over it one time, we might walk through it one time, and we assume, oh, they have it. No, we want to go through these routines to nauseam, to where it becomes second nature, it becomes muscle memory. Do this at the beginning of the year, reiterate it throughout the year, maybe every quarter, maybe every month, until you see that it is consistent and automatic. Again, let students practice while the stakes are low. It's the beginning of the year, okay? This is the time where you can use some of that instructional time to establish those routines, because we're here for 10 months. So if I spend the first month, boom, drilling it into you, as far as what we're supposed to do for our routines and procedures, come March, April, I might have to reiterate it, but we're not starting from scratch, okay? Provide immediate feedback, reteach as needed, use visual reminders. You may have things posted on the walls, you may have signals, you may have timers. Use visual reminders to help students follow the procedures and routines, and then reinforce consistency until the routine becomes increasingly automatic. This is imperative. You say, Dr. G, I'm not trying to do this. I'm not trying to do this over and over again, fight this battle. As my professor used to say, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. And I learned the hard way. I want to pay now. I want to go through this nauseum early in the school year, so all I'm doing is reiterating later, right? And believe it or not, what I learned was this makes my job so much easier. I'm not spending so much time trying to hover over kids, control the classroom. They already know what to do. All I have to do is remind them every now and then. So what are some high impact classroom routines? This doesn't apply to everybody, but here's some examples. Arrival and readiness for learning, ensuring that, right? What's the beginning of the class look like? Getting and returning materials. How does that look in your classroom? Transition between tasks or learning spaces. Maybe we're going from sitting at the desk to our learning circles or our discussion circle, okay? Independent work versus small group expectations. What is that supposed to look like? How are we supposed to ask questions and get assistance? How do we use technology? Submitting assignments and managing unfinished work. And last but not least, how do we end the class, clean up and dismissal? So these are some examples of routines that you can focus in on in order to make your classroom flow a little bit better. Let's say you're a new teacher, right? You're brand new to teaching. This is your first year. Look at arrival, transition between tasks, and end of class, right? Let's just say as a new teacher, I'm going to focus on those three things. So I started well. Periodically throughout the lesson, I make sure that our transition between tasks is good, and then I can close this out. And that may be all you focus on for this school year, perfecting those or mastering those. I'm not going to say perfecting, mastering those three: the arrival, the transition between tasks, and the end of class. Now, when I go into my second year, I may add some of these other things. So it's not something where, oh, I have to do this whole list. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? This is too much. No, take it little by little, okay? So what are the benefits for students when we have effective routines and procedures? Greater sense of safety and predictability. Kids already know what to expect when they come in your classroom. They know it's not going to be chaotic. They feel safe. More time engaged with learning. Increased independence and self-management. Clearer understanding of expectations. Fewer avoidable conflicts and corrections, right? So if you don't have routines and procedures, when we go from one task to the other, especially like with the little ones, they're bumping into each other. All of a sudden, you bumped me one too many times and now we're going to fight. You avoid all that by having clear expectations for your transitions and procedures. Does it eliminate it totally? No, but you have fewer, right? And then you have stronger confidence during transitions and tasks. Kids know what to do. Benefit for the teachers. You have more instructional time. You are not repeating yourself redundantly. Ironically, right? Reduce decision fatigue. So now I'm not having to think about, oh, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? No, it's already been established. Greater consistency with the management, more time for feedback and relationship building, and better ability to notice students who need support. School benefits from consistent expectations, improved climate, fewer behavioral disruptions, and alignment between classroom practices and school-wide systems. This may be your PBIS or MTSS, multiple tiered student supports, stronger collaboration, instructional focus, and more efficient use of staff time. So when thinking about routines and procedures, let's go into some of the nuances and considerations. You want to keep expectations developmentally appropriate. If you're teaching kindergartners, make it appropriate for kindergartners. If you're teaching 12th grade, don't give them kindergarten expectations and procedures. Oh, we're going to walk in a straight line. We're going to stop it. Okay. Make sure it's developmentally appropriate. You want to teach routines explicitly. Don't assume, oh, you remember what happened last year? No, don't assume. Teach it explicitly. Use clear, concise steps. Students can remember it. If it's too complicated, you're not going to remember it. The students aren't going to remember it. So keep it clear, concise, and simple. Consider accessibility, language, culture, and learning differences, and possibly sensory needs. You want to align procedures with school-wide expectations. We just talked about it, PBIS or the MTSS, while preserving classroom flexibility. So we're going to keep the overall big picture in mind, but here's how we're going to do it in our classroom. And then revisit routines when the class schedule and learning task changes. So if anything shifts, maybe we are semesterized and now I get a new group of kids, or they change our schedule and we have to adjust. Do not be afraid to adjust your routines and procedures. Just converse with the students about why these changes may be happening. Here's the piece. Think about this for a second. At home, most students are living with parent and guardian who that's their home, right? That's the parent's home. That's the guardian's home, or whoever they're staying with. They have rules to follow. Then they come to you and they have rules to follow. So they have no voice. Nothing belongs to them. At school, it's the teacher's home. At home, it's my parent guardian's home. I have no voice as a student. So keep that in mind for a second. The majority of the places students spend their time, they have no voice. They have no voice about the rules. At home, in all likelihood, and at school, if I'm the teacher, I'm setting the rules, the school's setting the rules, so they really don't have a voice there. So in your classroom, consider that and give them the opportunity to contribute. This will increase your buy-in. And then it makes it easier to enforce the consequences, because why? The students contributed. This is part of your rule. This is part of what you wanted because we had your input. So you invite students to identify classroom moments that feel confusing, inefficient, or even stressful. All right, how can we deal with that? What's a routine or procedure we can implement to deal with that? And they'll tell you. Co-create selected procedures. Okay? You cannot allow students to create all the procedures, but co-create selected ones. Give them space and opportunity for that. Offer meaningful choices within routines. Use class meetings, quick polls, or even exit tickets for suggestions. Assign student leadership roles for routines, especially group work. Regularly ask what is working and what is not so you can reflect and adjust. And keep non-negotiable safety and learning expectations clear. There are going to be some, hey, when the bell rings for dismissal, we are not leaving. I dismiss the class. Everybody stay seated. That's for safety. Okay, so everybody's not rushing to the door and somebody gets hurt. Keep this process in mind. So you want to teach the routines, you want to practice them, you want to reinforce them, and then reflect. Gather student input. After about the first week of school, hey guys, we came up with these routines, we came up with these ideas. How do you think they're working? So what happens, hey, things aren't working? What happens when routines aren't working, right? We want to check clarity. Do the students actually know what the routine is, okay? Check the complexity. Are there too many steps? Check practice. Have we practiced it? Have we done it? Have we rehearsed it? Check consistency. Am I, the teacher, reinforcing the same expectations? I know we said we were going to do this, but in my daily lesson and practice and classroom management, am I reinforcing the same expectations, or am I changing it up because of how I feel for the day? No. Check accessibility. Do the routines work for students with different learning and mobility needs? And last but not least, does the procedure still fit the current schedule, students, and learning environment? Okay, is it relevant? Do we need it? And these are discussions you can have with your students. So keys to remember: teach routines as intentionally as academic content. Believe it or not, by doing so, it reduces the stress level of the teacher. You are not trying to control the whole classroom. Now, all of a sudden, some leadership and some ownership is placed on the students. We want to keep procedures simple, visible, and easy to practice. We must be consistent. We want to reinforce what students should do, not focus in on what they shouldn't do, just reinforce what they should do. Students' voice increases ownership and relevance and buy-in. So allowing them to have a voice in this process increases buy-in. They should preserve dignity and support independence. And the best routine is one that eventually requires less teacher direction. Believe it or not, if we lay out these structures early on and practice them, you will find that you are not having to direct as much, and you can focus in on the instruction that, as we say, I'm paid to do. Thank you. We hope that was helpful. Remember, introducing routines and procedures is important. Reiterating and practicing them is vital. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.